Hey everyone, what's going on? So I recently purchased an Ender 3 version 2 3D printer, and I printed this Mandalorian helmet, but I didn't really capture any of the progress or the process of doing it. I see a lot of helmets on YouTube that people have made, but not with a printer as small as the Ender 3 version 2. So this one I printed in pieces. I've started on a second one. You can see those pieces here. So you got the ear pieces, the back vent, and the other ear pieces. So obviously all these are separate pieces. However, the helmet itself is also separate pieces in 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 other pieces for the actual helmet itself, including these. Now, because it does take so long to print, what I have been doing is I'll print a piece, I will Bondo it. I'll either use some glazing putty. I haven't used wood filler yet, but I'll use the glazing putty, sand it, kind of prep it while pieces are printing to save progress in the end. So keep watching. I'll post more into this video and we can see how it progresses. I got a piece printing right now, which I'll take a video of, and I'll even show you on Cura how I have been printing them.
All right, so this is how I did it in Cura. You can see right here I have a Ender 3 version 2. Obviously, if you have one in Cura, they don't have it yet, so you have to use a Ender 3 or Ender 3 Pro and change the settings. So for this, obviously, you can't print the whole helmet on here. So these are all the files right here. You have your bottom pieces of the ear. You do have a whole helmet. You also get the helmet left and the helmet right in 2 pieces. If you need to, you also have all the other pieces, which is left back bottom, left back top, left back front, left front, all of them. The vent, and you can even print the visor if you need to. So I got these files from my mini factory. Right here, the Mandalorian Helmet V2 by Rob Paza. He has all the files right here. I named mine a little differently so that I can find them easier when I'm printing parts. You can go on here, see a few that people have made. As far as scaling, the reason I made that first one was I scaled it up a little. It's too big, so these ones I have been doing at the 100% scale. So when I slice it, what I have been doing is I don't really change anything. However you print, you'll know best for your printer. I like to use a brim just because I found that it supports it better. You can use a skirt if you like, or whatever it is you use. Those are your settings. Now, one thing I have played with is I know that there are videos out there that talks about when you are printing a full helmet, you don't need the supports up here. So if you don't want that, you can, put a support blocker right here. Size it however you need it, move it, make it a little bigger to cover that whole area. Obviously, it don't need to go to the build plate. It just needs to block that area. I currently have one printing right now with the support blocker. All the other ones I do use the support blocker, but if you do, when you slice it, it does take a little over 20 hours. Okay, so it takes 1 day, 9 hours for this one. Obviously, you can adjust, if you're using a brim or a skirt, you can adjust that to get it, smaller. So one of the prints I did, I actually rotated it to about a position like this. Then at this point, the only supports was right here. So I figured that would save time. It did end up saving time. However, the print did not turn out as good as I had hoped. And you knocked off about 10 hours on there, but it did not turn out well. There were some issues in this area, separating it from the brim. It kind of left some nasty parts that honestly I don't even think sanding it and bondoing it would have been worth it. So I went back and reprinted it just like this, and did it without the support blocker. So that is printing right now. So we'll see how it turns out. But you can print this helmet in about 8 pieces or more if you need to. Obviously, I have a Ender 3 version 2, so you're definitely able to do it. So here we have it here printing. You can see it printing that support for that piece. That takes up a lot of filament. It takes up a lot of time also. So that's what I was talking about. If you want to block out the supports, you can. You obviously try it, see how it works on your printer. Something that I've realized is everybody has different settings and like to do different things on their printer. They seem to all be unique. You can notice one thing is that I did upgrade to a BL Touch because I was having issues with the manual bed leveling. So if you don't have a BL Touch, I would recommend getting one. So this piece prints with the support, adds a lot of time. Try it without it, do it with. Either way, the end result should be pretty good.
So I just got this piece off the printer. It is one that I printed with no supports. Everything on the outside turned out fine. Nothing a little sanding won't take care of. However, on the underside, the inside, we did have a slight problem with some layers not really sticking. Not a big deal because it is on the inside. I can sand it and put a little filler in there and you won't be able to notice it. So I do got another piece printing without supports. Hopefully it'll turn out just as good. So these pieces I did get off the printer the other day. What I did was I sanded each piece with 80 grit, 100 grit, and then 150. Once I got it sanded real good, I glued them together with Loctite Stick and Seal. This has a 5-minute set time, so what I'll do is I'll apply it to each side. Once I apply it to each side, I'll let it sit for about a minute or two and then join the pieces together, hold it until it will sit by itself. Once I get them glued together, what I did was on the inside here, I took a regular soldering iron, about $8-9, and I went around and I kind of made X's, melting the plastic together, creating a type of weld. This turned out to be very sturdy, and it's a process I'm going to keep using for the rest of the helmet and many more projects because it actually turned out really well. You hit it with a piece of sandpaper, it smooths out the layers. Once I did that, I used a little glazing and spot putty. Put that on there, on the seam, fill in any uneven marks, any cracks, sanded it down, see how it turned out, and then applied more if needed. If you don't have Bondo glazing spot and putty, I did use this stuff. It's called rock glazing putty. It's the exact same thing, other than it's green, but same effect. Goes on, hardens, and then it's sandable. In about an hour, it'll be really hard and sandable. So once this other piece finishes, I'll get this one sanded down, sand down the edge real good, and glue them together with the stick and seal. So hopefully in about another day, I'll get the bottoms printed, each side, and then I will put the helmet together, glue it, get it bonded, do the seams, and hopefully have it ready for prep. When I get it ready prep for paint, there'll be further to come along in the video showing you how I prime it and what layers I plan on going, what colors for the layers. So other than that, I think this turned out pretty good. Alright, so I got the helmet fully assembled. I got it bondoed in the spots, the filler. The inside is all kind of welded together with a soldering iron, painted over it black so you can't see it. So now what I'll do is I'll prime it with my primer right here. Once I prime it, I should be able to see if there's any spots that need more filler. Sometimes what I'll do is, if I have a spot that looks a little iffy, I may use it for some of the battle damage, make it look a little better. Once I prime it, I'll hit it with the silver, the metallic, for when I do the battle damage. You can see the silver underneath, essentially the Beskar. I'll hit it with the khaki, and then the yellow that I'm going to use for some of the accents that'll carry over to my armor once I get it printed. So from here, I'll prime it, get the ears on, and then start painting. And we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so we got the last coat of primer on the helmet and the earpieces. Once this primer dries for a while, I'll give it a quick light sand and then get ready for the silver. Alright, so now that we got the silver on, I'm going to go ahead and start prepping to do the damage. What I'm going to use is this Colgate toothpaste. What you do is you put it wherever you want the silver to shine through. So you just take toothpaste, using whatever you want, brush, Q-tip, foam, apply it, leave it there, do your other coats, and once you're done, you wash it off and it'll expose whatever was under the toothpaste. So it'll allow you to get all these marks. All right, so here we go. This is the finished product. This is the first one I did. It was a little too big, so that's why I had to redo, or that's why I started on my next one. This one, the battle damage was a little light. I also didn't dirty it up as much. I don't want a new looking armor or helmet. So for this one, I really kind of dirtied it up, gave it a lot of damage. Really got the top, the yellow faded, messed up, roughed up. So this one looks a little more worn out, but that's kind of the theme I'm going for. Also, I know I didn't do a whole lot of covering of the painting, but all of this is what the toothpaste was covering. Once I painted it, took a little wet paper towel, wiped it down, and the paint came right off. If you have trouble with the paint coming off, what you can do is get a piece of tape, put the tape on it, peel the tape off, it'll pull it off. So overall, I think it came out pretty good. It's pretty worn out. The armor, when I do the armor, I'm going to make the armor look worn out also. So hopefully you liked the video. The next things I'm making will be the gauntlets. So the next video will be on the gauntlets. All right, thanks for watching.